Welcome to Vantage Point 27. This subject has so many angles, it's quite hard to bring into focus. But I'll start with the video which opened my eyes to this matter. In 2015, I saw a video by author John Green in which he spoke about what it means to be human, and that unfortunately there are people in the world who see others who are not like them, not human, as in they can't identify with them or sense their humanity. His video got me thinking about the matter. The video was, for me, a bit vague. I wanted the subject to be much more defined. So I decided to do an accurate assessment of it and to the best of my abilities bring it into sharp focus. I started to research it by making observations and speaking to people. The result of my 2 years of research was this. It's not our skin color, nationality, religion, or that the other person is simply different to us that could make them appear not human. There's only one thing in the world that snatched the humanity of millions of people. That thing is poverty. The richer you are, no matter your skin color, citizenship, or religion, the more human it makes you, the more rights you have. Your will will by itself speak for your rights as a human being. It's a matter of perception, and it can mean the difference of life and death for the poor, because it brings into question their survival. Dr. Ben Carson had made comments about poverty being a state of mind that can be overcome. He was criticized a lot in the media. It was said, a poor person can't become rich unless a rich person helps them, because they don't have the environment to help them become rich. Some even argued that poor people don't get enough food for their brains to develop properly, so they can't even think of successful projects if they want to do something to help themselves or their community. I'm sure those who criticize Dr. Carson's comments have good intentions towards the poor, but they are guilty of something very dangerous. It's their perception that only those who fit into some scheme developed by the rich to help them get out of poverty can be successful. The rest are a part of human society existing on earth hopelessly, pointlessly. It is this perception that makes millions of people get washed away as labor workers or die in genocides because they are pre-devalued. Dr. Carson has a better and correct perception than his critics, and I completely agree with him. A poor person can rise above poverty on their own merit, despite their overwhelming circumstances. I wish these were the only cruel things I discovered through my research. But there are other despicable, inhumane things that poor people endure other than poverty itself. For example, these claims could be true or not, but I heard the story of some people who were blinded, and when asked how it had happened to them, I was told that they had gone to this hospital where it was said they had to be operated, but their condition wasn't serious. However, after the operation, they were blinded permanently. So I did some investigation to see if there was a possibility these claims could be true. I was given the alleged info on condition of anonymity. The people I spoke to said that poor people were chosen because likely they would fail to sue the hospital, because they are unaware of their rights. Secondly, because they are poor, they would take any compensation and go away. It was said that is practiced in some hospitals, if not all. Medical students who are learning to be surgeons would operate on poor patients without their knowledge. I then spoke to some very rich people who had been treated at the same hospital. They had nothing but praise for the hospital, saying the standards were the best they had seen. So allegedly, this is the way Poor and rich people were treated at the same hospital. Something very recently in the news is the death of over 60 children in a hospital in India. As I see it, it is always the poor who are abused and exploited. Politician Rahul Gandhi had made this tweet. I hope other powerful politicians like him and India's Prime Minister and other top politicians step up and stop the exploitation of the poor, especially the children. There is in the whole world a general dehumanization of the poor, even children. Heartbreaking UNICEF video is an eye-opener. Going to show stills. The girl was dressed up as a rich child. It seems everyone passing by is concerned for her. Same girl was then dressed up as a poor child. Suddenly it appears she became invisible to the people walking by. Then she was sent to a restaurant, again dressed as a rich child. People smiled and welcomed her. Then as a poor child, it appears there are people worried about her stealing their handbags. She was pushed away from tables. A man even asked for her to be taken out. Thank you UNICEF for making this shocking video. The video says everything. If you are rich, you are human, and if you are poor, you and your child are invisible or under suspicion. However, the video didn't show what a real poor child would have been subjected to, apart from what was seen. A real poor child would have been subjected to rape, child trafficking, organ theft, and no one would have asked what happened to the poor child that was on the street. You would think that cruelty towards poor people would stop at things like these. It doesn't. I've seen some so-called philanthropists forget that the people they are helping are not cats or dogs. I once attended a charity event that was organized by women who were from very wealthy families in the country. A stage was set up, and poor families were brought onto the stage and made to stand before an audience. Then the women came on the stage, took their mic, and announced how much they'd paid them, and even the food they were given. The groceries were brought on the stage, shown to the audience, each item of grocery. The families watched silently as their dignity was shredded. Some of the wealthiest people in the world have helped the underprivileged while still preserving their dignity. Billionaire Mr. Bill Gates had funded a water project which extracted water from human waste and purified it and made it into drinking water. The idea of drinking water extracted from human waste is a bit difficult, and the poor person might find it humiliating. I think Mr. Gates might have thought this, and in what is beyond philanthropy, but the epitome of humanity, he drank a glass of the water. Billionaire Saudi Prince Al-Walid bin Talal Al Saud had in 2015 pledged to donate his entire wealth to charities. Sir Richard Branson, Oprah Winfrey, J.K. Rowling, Indians Anand Mahindra, and many others all over the world have made huge contributions to charity. America's President Donald Trump tried to find his good side. He had once worked in his own hotel, the jobs of workers, empathy with them. Please, those who are upset with his immigration rules, do not make insulting memes. It won't get him to listen to you. Speak to him with respect and reason, and he might listen. Truly sad what happened in Charlottesville. I hope America will never lose its identity of diversity and unity among groups of different people. America was made by groups of different people. Steve Jobs was the son of an immigrant, and we have seen how much his contributions have been. And it is this diversity that can keep America safe for everyone. Respect your rights and those of others. Read about this hero a while back, and this tweet was made after the Charlottesville tragedy. America spoke out against hate and racism. Here are a few of the millions of tweets. Dear Arjuwan, I'm told my mail is over there. Going to look for it. Pay them high salaries. When a poor person goes to a government officer to complain from a rich aggressor, it shouldn't be that the aggressor can bribe the officer because the officer doesn't have a good salary. There are many examples of how very poor people became very rich. There are several ways, but one way, which is not fast, but I think significant to their survival, is that in every poor community there has to be one person who is educated and has managed to improve their circumstances. I think they should educate their community of their rights as human beings, because it is one thing to go through troubles, and it's another to have an educated overview. We may not see a difference immediately, but in 10-20 years, the community might manage to get out of poverty completely. And the poor must be taught to make it clear to the world that their women and children cannot be exploited just because they're poor. There will be consequences.